Hello my loves, Cyn out here coming at you with another video, and in this video we are going to talk about Rogaine, Minoxidil, and its role in hair growth within the body's natural hair growth cycle. If you are one of those people who've been wondering if whether or not you should use Minoxidil on the scalp, aka Rogaine, then keep on watching. Please do not freaking click off of this video yet, because you gonna be mad if you don't get to the end. Like, you're gonna be mad because you're gonna take it, you're gonna use it, and then what's I'm about to say at the end gonna happen. You're gonna be bored and you're gonna be mad and you're gonna be trying to blame me. It's not my fault because you were supposed to watch to the end.
Trust that exactly where you are is where you're meant to be. So keep your chin up so your crown doesn't fall. Remember, you're royalty.
In the background, it's actually not raining this time. The last time it was. It's my white noise machine here on the screen. I am so in love with this. I sleep with it on every single night, and it's keeping me calm while we're on this subject. Minoxidil was introduced to us in the early 1970s as a treatment for hypertension, aka high blood pressure. So it was never introduced as a hair growth product, but once it was released to the public, once they started doing a whole lot of tests and started looking at the people who had taken Minoxidil, one thing that they were noticing, one of the main symptoms of people being treated for hypertension with Minoxidil was hair growth. Hair growth around different areas of the body, and this is not something that they were going for, because remember, this is a treatment for high blood pressure. Hair growth was not in cahoots with this whole situation, but they're like, hey, we can make some money off of this, so let's do it. At this point, there are more studies and more money being put into using Minoxidil for hair growth purposes. This is when they first released their first topical hair solution or hair treatment for the scalp for external use, and this is where they put a serum on the top of the scalp, and the initial one was a serum. But remember, the initial drug was in pill form, so the studies that they found where this drug was inducing hair growth, it was found when people were taking this drug internally. The treatment that people were taking for hypertension and high blood pressure was not a topical treatment, meaning not something that they put on the body manually, but it was something that they took in a pill form. Okay, so again, scientists went a little deeper and found that they could put it in a serum form. So this is where this extra strength version of Minoxidil came into play. This was mainly a treatment for androgenetic alopecia. In this video here, we talk all about the natural hair growth cycle, and the anagen phase of the hair growth cycle is the phase of the hair growth cycle where inside of the hair's follicles, the hair cells are replicating themselves very rapidly. All right, so this is what Minoxidil is mainly there to target, the anagen phase of the hair growth cycle. And androgenetic alopecia is a form of alopecia wherein the hair growth cycle is cut short or like kind of stopped completely. Initially, it was men that were taking it. Now, men can take the higher dosages because remember, when they did the study, initially it wasn't meant for hair, it was meant for high blood pressure. And when they were doing it, of course, men, it was great for them for male pattern baldness, and then for their beards and things of that nature. It was cool. Men don't mind growing hair, but it wasn't a good thing for women because women were growing hair in places that you don't really want to grow it. Okay, so this is why you have Minoxidil for men and then you have it for women, because the percentage is very different. If you use too much Minoxidil as a woman, girl, you're gonna have a beard, and I mean, if that's what you into, is what you into. But androgenetic alopecia is the most common form of hair loss, like around the world, Craig, not just the city, the world. And originally, the first formulation within the early 1970s was about 2%, but then around the 1980s, they ended up bumping it up to 5%, right? 5% was something that they were okay with, but I want you to remember you have to be so careful with the percentages, and we'll talk about why in a second. Most people would think that the drug minoxidil is its original pro form, meaning the form of the drug that has its active ingredient that's going to do all the work. But minoxidil is just something that causes a certain reaction within the body. It's not growing the hair itself. So what it's actually doing is triggering actual active form, which is this right here. This is the actual active form of minoxidil, and this only happens whenever enzymes around the hair follicle, in this portion of the hair follicle, or I'm gonna put it over here, and minoxidil does not turn into an active ingredient until it touches this area of the hair follicle, inside of the hair follicle. This can be found around the outer root of the hair's follicle. There are so many different cases where there are products that come out and people are like,
oh, it worked for me, it worked for me,
but then other people are,
girl, that junk did not work for me, it was booty, it was trash.
But the reality of it is, whether you're using minoxidil or any other product, everything in a product is going to be dependent on what is going on within your body. So the people who use Rogaine or minoxidil and do not see any type of reaction, any physical reaction, what is actually happening is the enzymes that are within the hair follicle that the minoxidil needs to react to for that active ingredient to become active are very, very low. The more active enzymes you have within the hair's follicle, the more products are going to work for you. And that's not just minoxidil, that's with anything. If you want to know what ends up limiting your enzyme production within the hair's follicle, then make sure you sign up for Guru VIP, because it is going down on that subject on the 5th of August. And if the 5th of August has already passed, you can still sign up and look at the class, because once you are a part of Guru VIP, it don't ever go nowhere. The videos are up forever, boo. So the higher the enzyme activity within the body, the better the response will be for using minoxidil or any other treatment that works on triggering the anagen phase of the hair growth cycle. What is going on inside of the body is really, really important, because you can spend money on these products and on these hair growth aids till you're blue in the face, but if your actual hair growth cycle isn't together, things aren't happening right internally, and the enzymes within the body that need to react with certain drugs or certain hair growth products will not work. Now, it opens up channels of potassium within the body, and it smooths the muscle. This is how everything is working, and that is why they used it to lower the blood pressure, because it kind of helped to slow things down. Works by prolonging the anagen phase of the hair growth cycle. The anagen phase of the hair growth cycle is that phase within the hair growth cycle where the cells within the hair follicle are rapidly reproducing themselves to grow new hair, getting ready to replace those hairs that are going to shed and fall out within the exogen phase of the hair growth cycle. Minoxidil works by prolonging that anagen phase. By prolonging the anagen phase of the hair growth cycle, the cells within the hair follicle are able to produce more hair cells more rapidly, right? So this is why a lot of people will notice that once they start taking Rogaine or minoxidil, that they will notice that a whole lot of their hair will begin to shed and things of that nature. That is not because your hair is falling out. That's because a lot of the hair was already in the exogen phase of the hair growth cycle, and by you using minoxidil, you are speeding up that exogen phase so that the majority of the hair follicles can get into the anagen phase of the hair growth cycle, right? So if your hair starts shedding when you first start using minoxidil, don't worry, that's all that's happening. And the longer you use it, the more the hair that is in the exogen phase of the hair growth cycle will begin to fall out, making new room for all of the new cells that are beginning to be produced rapidly within the anagen phase of the hair growth cycle. All right, it's really important that you increase the amount of active enzymes within the hair follicle, because there are so many different things that we have done, not we, because I'll be doing that stuff. There's so many different things that y'all have done to reduce the amount of active enzymes within the hair's follicle. And what happens as a result of that, the scalp gets into oxidative stress. There are so many different things that cause oxidative stress within the hair's follicle, and I'm sorry to tell you guys, I know a lot of people are not going to want to hear this, but the majority of the problems that people have are due to oxidative stress within the hair's follicle. And most of these causes of oxidative stress are all of everybody's favorite team natural hacks. It's the truth, and this is how I'll prove it to you. Here are a few causes of oxidative stress within the body: oxidative metabolism, smoking, inflammation from microbiome. Microbiome is literally the bacteria, the overproduction of yeast, the overproduction of sebum, the overproduction of acid on the scalp from you not properly shampooing the hair, because co-washing does not remove yeast and bacteria and other microbial organisms that are on the follicle, that are being released from the follicle. Any type of oxidative stress within the hair's follicle or on the scalp is going to drastically slow down the anagen phase of the hair growth cycle. And oxidative stress will also prevent a whole lot of the products that are supposed to be on the head, that are supposed to work for hair growth and all of that different stuff. It slows it down dramatically. Pollutants and other forms of scalp irritants that end up causing you to have any type of scalp inflammation, because there are a lot of different things that could lead to you having scalp inflammation, just like it's a whole bunch of stuff that could lead to you having a foot fungus or something. You won't use no water, you're gonna have some scalp inflammation. You are not a plant, okay? You're not a plant. Plants need dirt to grow. People like, dirt make your hair grow, sis. Bro, that's not dirt in your head. This is dirt. This is dirt that a plant is planted in. That's not what's on the scalp. It's not even black that's coming out. It's not brown or nothing like that. It's like a yeasty color. It's like a whitish, yellowish type of color. Cream. Not dirt. That's not dirt in your scalp, girl. That's yeast. Okay? And you do not need that for your hair to grow. If you are going to take minoxidil, you should really be careful. You cannot take aspirin and use minoxidil at the same time, because they have a really bad reverse chemical reaction. Because remember, the initial reasoning for using minoxidil in the first place was for you to lower the blood pressure. If you have any type of internal issues that you're dealing with, I really highly suggest that you meet with a dermatologist or with a healthcare physician, so you can see if whether or not you are even a candidate to be ingesting or putting minoxidil on the body, because it is not meant for hair growth. It is meant to lower blood pressure. So I can imagine if your blood pressure is already too low, you may not want to use this on your hair. I'm just saying. It comes in a liquid form, which was the first original formulation, and it comes in a foam form. Now, the liquid formulation, at first everything was cool, but people started not liking it as much because it does cause a little bit of irritation on the scalp, and it takes a little bit longer for it to dry. So for that reason, we went from a serum like consistency to a foam consistency. If you want to know the exact percentages, make sure you check out my blog post, because I have all of the information there and written. Now I'm just giving you a little drive-by real quick, just explaining it, you know. The body is only able to absorb about 1.4% of minoxidil into the scalp anyway, and that's male or female, it doesn't matter. And mind you, this is for a person whose follicles are not blocked by butters and oils or dead skin. A person with a completely clean, clear scalp is only going to absorb approximately 1.4% of minoxidil into the scalp, versus taking it internally, right, and having serious results. But taking it internally has a whole lot of risk because there's so many different things that could go wrong. And mind you, if you're a person who does decide to take it internally, do not play around and do anything outside of what the label says. Because if you are a woman and you are taking minoxidil by too much,
He's like, oh, I'm gonna take a whole bunch so it'll grow.
oh girl, you're gonna grow a whole beard. You're gonna be the bearded woman. You think it's some problems now. You're gonna have all the hair that you're gonna be able to pluck out your chin. You're gonna be able to fill it up with the spots on your head. Girl, don't do it. I'm trying to tell you, minoxidil is gonna make y'all have beards. I'm just letting you know. And you have to use minoxidil for a good 4 months. Like, and when I say 4 months, I mean religiously. Like, you cannot miss a day because the minoxidil has to build up inside of the body. If you are a person who can't stick to a regimen and you take it for like a week or two and then expect to see a result, and if you don't see a result in a week or two, then you're gonna stop. Girl, boy, don't even waste your money, because for you to see good results with minoxidil in any way, you need to take it for at least 4 months to see any type of result or resolve in the first place. And when I say any type of resolve, I mean, obviously some people, everybody's different, just like we talked about with the active enzymes. If you are a person who takes really good care of your body and really good care of your scalp, and you have really good scalp health, then you would have more active enzymes than most people. So it may work a little faster than 4 months for you, right? Or you may get a lot more growth than the average person, but still, that's what it is. Let's get to the pros first. The pros of minoxidil is that it does trigger the anagen phase of the hair growth cycle. So if you are a person who, for whatever reason, you have experienced, maybe you are a person with telogen effluvium and your hair growth cycle has been stuck inside of the telogen phase, you may really need to do something to trigger the anagen phase of the hair growth cycle, because your hair has been in the telogen phase of the hair growth cycle. If you have telogen effluvium, which is the phase of the hair growth cycle where the hair isn't growing, it's not falling out, it's just sitting there and resting. You know what I'm saying? So if your hair, if you have telogen effluvium and you were to take something like minoxidil, it could trigger you to go back into the anagen phase of the hair growth cycle. So that's one pretty big pro, right? The fact that it will trigger the anagen phase of the hair growth cycle. If you are a person who is noticing that your transparency in the hair shaft is weakening, or let's say your hair isn't necessarily falling out, but you're just noticing that your hair is appearing to be a lot thinner, this will also help. Minoxidil will also help your hair to thicken up. It will definitely help you to grow hair, but remember that the hair that's gonna come in from the hair growth with minoxidil isn't gonna be hair that's like super duper thick and all of that. Like, especially if you're a person who has really thick hair and it fell out, the hair is not gonna grow back super duper thick and thriving and stuff. It's gonna be really, not really fine hair, but the hair is gonna be pretty fine compared to whatever your normal diameter is, right? If you are a person who, let's say your hair isn't thinning or falling out, but it is appearing to be thinning. I didn't say not thinning. If your hair is not falling out like in clumps, but it's just appearing visually thinner and stuff like that to you, then it is something that you can do, because it is going to be producing so many new hair growth cells within the anagen phase. So it is a good thing for you to do, right? But here go a few of the cons. Even though it will give you some hair growth, right, it's not forever. Let me explain. So the main cons for the topical application: poor regrowth, a difference in texture, scalp irritation, you getting a whole bunch of facial hair, a lot of people stopping because of that. The shedding phase extended and undesirable texture. Low doses of minoxidil are safe for hair growth, right? For hair growth in very low doses. So if you are a woman who thinks like, oh, I won't get the minoxidil for women, I'm gonna get it for men because it's a lot stronger. You're gonna get the minoxidil for men and you're gonna be looking like a man because you're gonna have a beard. I will have the exact measurements and everything for how much you can take, how much you shouldn't take over on my blog post, so make sure you head over there to check it out so you can get the exact measurements and my exact recommendations for different brands that make this product. Okay, side effects for the topical treatment are headaches, contact dermatitis, and hair growth on the face or in different areas that a woman doesn't necessarily want it. For an oral dose, now this is way more dangerous. If you're taking it orally, this is when you have to be so careful and you have to read the directions exactly, because in this case it'll really attack the liver and a couple of different areas of the body, and if the liver is attacked, then your body cannot process and get rid of certain toxins and things like that it's supposed to. So you'll have different disorders that cause you to have a buildup of fluid in different parts of the body and different organs within the body. So using too much minoxidil can do so much more harm than good. Minoxidil was not originally formulated for hair, it wasn't, but they saw that women who had it or people who had it were growing hair in places that nobody ever seen it before, so they was like, y'all can use it. Just to let you guys know, to keep it real 100, I hope that this was good for you guys, but I want to end with this. Even though I have given you guys a couple of good things about minoxidil, I do want you to know that whatever effect that it gives you, it is very short-lived. If you start using minoxidil, it will work if you are healthy, if your body is doing good, if your scalp is really clean and things of that nature. But when you stop using minoxidil, all of the hair that you've grown while using the product will begin to shed and fall out. It is a fact. Now, it won't happen initially, like it won't be like, oh, the second that I stop using it, all of my hair is just falling out in clumps. Normally it takes anywhere between 12 to 14 weeks for it to start showing up, for all of the hair to start detaching itself and going towards the estrogen phase, because remember, this drug is triggering and manipulating the androgen phase. But if none of your patterns change, right, if you are not in tune with your body's natural hair growth cycle, the androgen phase, the canogen phase, the telogen phase, and the estrogen phase, if you are not in cycle and in regimen with your body's natural hair growth cycle, then the second you stop taking this drug, the hair is going to stop growing. It's just as simple as that. If you want to get some real help on managing your natural hair growth cycle, then make sure you sign up for my 7-day hair growth challenge.
Trust that exactly where you are is where you're meant to be. So keep your chin up so your crown doesn't fall. Remember,